The Proteas must improve the way they score in the last or late overs of a match in white ball cricket. Specifically, we are talking about over here in ODIs and in T20s. So, limited overs cricket obviously takes a lot of skill, a whole different mentality, and a lot of those things. So, in order for South Africa to improve that, that is, I think, something that they really need to work on. We've seen that in the previous series against Pakistan and the West Indies, that they played pretty well with the bat when it comes to the first 5 overs, first 10 overs in ODIs. So it's that middle over period that South Africa really struggle, and as well as at the end. Now, we have seen in some cases that South Africa do play really well in the middle overs when someone like Rassi's eye is in, or if one of our openers are still at the crease, or if our number 3 actually puts on runs and can bat through the innings. But when the pressure's on, particularly the last 5 overs of a T20 and the last 10 overs of an ODI, South Africa haven't necessarily always been the guys to score amazing runs in that period or to accelerate the run rate exceptionally well. So we're going to be talking about that today, myself and Aditya, about scoring runs and how South Africa will improve that late over burst of scoring that we all would like our teams to be able to do. If you're new to this channel and you've never been here before, please hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell for all future videos, please, as well. Smash that like button. Let's get up to over 20 likes on this particular video. Let's see if we can reach that goal. 50 likes would be an amazing, amazing feat. So let's see if we can get that, guys. Share this with everybody that we are discussing today. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host Khalid Moeddin. This is my co-host Aditya. And this is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. As I said in the intro, we are talking about improving that late over rate that South Africa has, particularly last 5 overs in T20, as well as that last 10 overs in ODI cricket. It's a problem for us currently, Aditya. I mean, there's something that the guys like Rassi, we've heard Temba, we've heard them speak about it, even Mark Boucher speak about that particular innings, and finding the places or the players in the lineup that can do that role. I was under the impression that they are thinking of I was going to say Aditya now, but David Miller. David Miller's role, he's supposed to be kickstarting that part of the innings, getting us over that line, from if we're at 160, getting us to 180, or if we're at 180, taking us to 200, like that extra burst of run scoring, and having the right players in the team that can do that. Why is it so important, Aditya? I think that's the first question we have to answer.
Yes, this is among the most important issues that is very rarely spoken about with respect to the lower middle order of the South African team. And ever since AB de Villiers and JP Duminy retired, there's been an over-reliance on David Miller to perform both of their roles, unfortunately. And David Miller is a quality player, we know that, but he needs players around him who can support him in ensuring that 160 becomes 180 or 170 becomes 190. And that's not happening at the moment because there simply aren't enough players with that destructive ability to be able to sort of push the run rate towards the back end. All that pressure is on Miller. And that's not sustainable in the long run because in the ODI series against Pakistan, we did criticize Andile Peklukwaya quite a lot for his strike rate. And generally, there seems to be a dearth of finishers in South African cricket. Now, that's not to say that we're always going to get the finished article, but it's important for the management to nurture some of these players and give them that role of late order hitting.
It's interesting because how do you how do you learn that, or how do you train for that? Like, for example, if South Africa maybe sees someone in the lineup that they can maybe that they can identify as the person to do that role for us, how do they go about how to get that out of them? Is it just about taking the shackles off and telling them, look here, just go out and play your game?
Not really. Look, I think there are two ways that sort of come to mind, and it's also that we don't want one-dimensional players in the team, right? Because there will be times when um there will be times when a team is 40 for 4, and the player whose original role is to smash it at the end needs to consolidate for a little while and then smash it at the end. Something like what MS Dhoni used to do. He when MS Dhoni came into the international circuit, he was this swashbuckling big hitter of the ball. He used to hit it a long way, and then he sort of transformed his game to be able to adapt to the situation. So that's also an important facet of it. But one thing that South Africa can certainly learn from, and that is Ravindra Jadeja's example. Ravindra Jadeja was not the batsman that he is today. He had the quality, because before he came into the international fold, he had scored two triple hundreds in Indian domestic cricket. So he had the quality, but he didn't have the range to be able to strike the ball like he is today. So he's worked on that. The team management has contributed to the way that he has upskilled himself, and that is an important facet of the game that South Africa needs to work on. They need to make sure that Keshav Maharaj is able to hit sixes out of the park. They have to make sure that Andile Pekluwayo is able to play more aggressively. And then that can happen. No one's going to come out the finished product because everyone wants to bat in the top four, and quite naturally.
Yeah, and all of the top four batsmen currently have the ability to be able to, well, majority of them have the ability to be able to score big towards the latter stages of an innings. Like Rassie van der Dussen, if he's seen enough balls, he can do that. He can play that type of game towards the end of an innings. But if they're coming in, like at a specific time in the innings, for example, if they're coming in and we've lost a couple of wickets quickly, and they're coming in towards the 15th, 16th over in a T20, or they're coming in the 30 odd 40th 45th over round about there, or the 40th over of an innings in ODI cricket, the problem is, can they turn it on immediately? And that's the concern that we have. We have a whole lot of top order batsmen right up until 6, and Muller, we're hoping will be able to do that, and I'm really hoping that he can, and I've seen him do it. So it's not like he's incapable of doing it. I think he is, but his role needs to be identified in the side, and I need to work on that with him mentally, because I don't think it's about teaching him a technique. I think they need to find a way to how I mentally unblock these players from being able to do that type of role and to be able to unleash at an earlier rate. The only way you can do that is there is a way to unlock it in training, where you tell the player, look here, you are not allowed to at this point get your eye in. Take 1 ball, 2 balls to get your eye in. Go play out in the middle and do some middle hitting, some long range hitting. And you can almost force it with certain goals. You can give them certain goals. Say if you hit 6 sixes in a row, or try to hit 5 out of 6 in this over, and get people to bowl at him, and get the bowlers to bowl at him. And I think that the problem over here is you don't have to exert your bowlers either, because it's the slower deliveries, it's the spinners that can bowl at them, because those are the guys they're going to need to play against. I think they're fine against this faster paced bowlers. They naturally can score against them. So you don't have to exert your bowlers. You can because South Africa have some top quality bowlers that will hassle anybody in the world. And if they get those guys to bowl slower deliveries and short paced deliveries, and let the other batsmen just go ahead and swing in the middle, on a middle pitch, not on the match pitch, of course, on a practice pitch, I think that will be able to unlock their mentality of going out and smacking. Yes, a game situation is different, and yes, those are all things, but those are the type of things that you can do to help them get there. I think Dwayne Pretorius coming back in the side, although Aditya, is going to be a massive boost for South Africa, because I think he'll play that role for South Africa going forward. Because if you have two, all-rounders, one that swings and smacks the ball and tries to do that type of role, which Andile kind of is. he's been a swing and miss type of guy in a way, to an extent, where I think he has a lot better quality in him than just a swing and miss type of guy. But ultimately, that's his role. If he connects, the ball goes. But to have him and have Dwayne Pretorius, because currently I know people want to say Morris, get Morris, get Morris. We've heard in last night's press podcast, we heard what we were talking about, what Boucher said about Morris. It seems that there is some miscommunication between whether Morris is going to come back or not. So I think they need to sort that out first before we can even put Morris into the equation, because what's the point then of talking about Morris if he's not available or he's not making himself available? So let's just talk about the players that we have now. And currently that's Pretorius and Andile Pechlikwayo ultimately as our all-rounders. Vian Mulder maybe, but I've always seen Vian Mulder as a batsman that needs to get his eye in. I've never seen him as a big range hitter. He's never been that throughout his career.
Another thing that just came to my mind right now is that how many 360-degree players are there in South Africa at the moment? Very
How
few.
many
So
are there in the world, though?
I mean, there are, right? Like Josh Butler, we've got Josh Butler and Maxwell and Surya Kumar Yadav, and Pandya can play a few and it's like that. So, like there are. My point here is that there is that evolution in batting that we're seeing. Where players across the world are playing a lot, are playing a bunch of. They're sort of evolving in their shot making. Like Faf du Plessis, he's mastered that ramp shot that he plays that he plays over short fine, like 1 for 4 or 6. So to respond to Abhay's comment, I'm not referring to his India career just yet. I mean, talk about IPL as well. He's been in the IPL for like 6 years also. So I think a large part of where I'm getting at is that are players being trained to evaluate those possibilities as well? Because it's an important facet of the game now. Where Mark Boucher keeps talking about giving players different options and trying to add shots to their repertoire. If you talk about T20 cricket or even one-day cricket, it's an important facet of it now. And it's players need to sort of expand their range a little bit, because I think since AB de Villiers, I can't think of a player in international or domestic South African cricket who have that similar sort of range.
Mm-hmm. It's true, and all the guys that we want to tip to be those type of players are a little bit too young for that debut, to get that debuts. The guys that we've seen play like that at lower levels, of course, in domestic cricket. But yeah, there needs to be an importance on this. We need to sort that out. Boucher needs to work on his guys. It's a bit too late, I think, to maybe work on it right now, leading up into the World Cup. But for the 2023 World Cup, I'm sure we will be able to sort it out by then. So, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Our daily shows, are generally only going to be 15 minutes for the guys that are struggling with data in South Africa. We want to get more people to obviously watch the show, and we don't want to waste all their data because data is very, very expensive in South Africa. If you guys hear the rates, you'll be shocked. Maybe a sponsor can come on board with us and we'll be able to give away cheaper data. Maybe that's a good idea. MTN, if you're listening, Vodacom or SLC or all of you guys, maybe we can give some great data to the people that they can watch our show more often and we can have longer shows at our daily show. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Click that notification bell for all future video. We are currently working very hard on our next issue of the magazine. Sorry that it's a bit late. We normally come out on Mondays. We are running a bit late with it because it was difficult for us to get hold of certain people, and it's been difficult to do that because when you're trying to get hold of good interviews, it is a very difficult thing. Even if you contacted them 2-3 weeks beforehand, it's very difficult to get them to commit to a specific date. So we are very hard working on it. It will come out this week, most likely on Wednesday. We were going to publish that issue of the magazine, a very interesting one, something that you need to read. So in the meantime, I think you guys, what you need to do is subscribe to the magazine, click that notification bell and everything. But click subscribe to the magazine, click on the link on the description and on the screen. That's the link over there, and download the magazine 100% free, guys. Also go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all updates as well if you need to find any updates. There's also a subscribe form on all of our articles for you to subscribe to the magazine if you get lost, guys. So that is there for you. So thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily show. Looking forward to hearing from all of you again, and enjoy your evening. Take care, everybody, and thanks, Aticha, for coming on. Cheers.